This SEC Conference Preview Part 1 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up with SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
This is Jerry Glanville, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Y'all want to murder some trees?
All right.
I like this idea. I'm wearing
we're
some
talking
camo.
SEC. I thought we were just going to be.
Oh yes, bringing back the old Auburn, Alabama.
Isn't that what it means? It means more, Sean.
It does mean more. Joining us to talk about the greatest conference in the land, Colby Dant, aka Pick Dundee. What's happening, Colby?
I love the SEC compared to the Big Ten.
Wow. We've already taped our Big Ten college football previews. Those are quote unquote in the can. We'll be releasing those later, but we're live with our first preview to hit the airwaves. SEC Part 1, breaking it down. There's no longer divisions. We've gotten rid of divisions, alphabetical order. And we got our first crack at these.
And Texas and Oklahoma joining. I mean,
Texas and Oklahoma, big part of them.
This is the first time. Well, I shouldn't say that. I guess Miami and Nebraska. But it's often that it's like they're grabbing other teams that are smaller to come up, with the exception of maybe Miami, Nebraska. That didn't work out for them that well thus far. But Texas and Oklahoma are pretty big heavyweights in the history of college football, specifically Oklahoma.
Yeah, and they're both going to be in part 2 alphabetically. But like, which name brand? Because you're right. Which name brands in the SEC are bigger than Texas? Alabama.
Yeah,
Georgia.
And that's debatable. Now, Alabama definitely has way more national championships than Texas.
Texas though has more money.
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
I guess
saying.
it depends how if you're doing it just by dollars the program brings in. Isn't Texas the number one school in the nation?
Yeah, but also just when you think
they've had that advantage for a while.
Football, and I'm not talking college football. When you think football, Texas comes to mind before Alabama.
You talking like recruiting?
Just the whole state. You know what I mean? Like
minus
everything.
Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good idea for us. One of those graphics. Top football states. Texas is number 1. You're saying?
I mean, they do.
So when
have
you
you
think
seen
about
some
football,
of the high school stadiums in Texas?
High school, definitely. High school.
Well, just in general. I mean, look, they call the Cowboys America's team. We hate the Cowboys. I know that, but I'm saying
the power lines in Canton are goalposts. Where's Ohio rank on this?
They're high up. Yeah. They're high up there. I mean, their history of just the amount of, but my point is that something about Texas to me, they've had amazing players come from Texas, but they just don't have the national championships that Alabama has. Well, if anything, Oklahoma has more national championships than Texas.
Noah pointing out, I mean, kind of timely. We're taping this mere hours after college baseball just crowned their World Series champion, and then the Texas A&M head coach, he goes off on the reporter saying, "Oh, how that's a disrespectful question. I gave up so much to coach for this team," and then announces he's going to be coaching for Texas.
Yeah.
Hilarious,
classic scumbag move. That's what I'm saying. Like it is funny. I'm glad they're I don't know that I've ever seen one that fast.
Yeah,
but like Saban did that at Michigan State to LSU.
Blatant. I mean, it's hard to kill these guys. I get it. You're going to get more money, better opportunity. You're going to take it, but you don't need to like shit on the reporter for asking the question. That's a selfish question.
Oh, I disagree completely.
Really?
I think this shows you how much some of these guys are just complete shithead snake oil salesmen. If you're truly a coach, there's no way you would want this. This completely breaks any sort of foundation you would be building with the team. Like it's about trust. It's about commitment. And to even just the way that he handled it, he clearly was being emotional. He's clearly had to reprimand players before for acting the same way after something went in a way that they didn't like. This guy seems like a fucking bitch. And if I was a Texas fan, I'd be like, ooh, I don't know about this one.
Horns down.
But also, he's now coached for TCU, Texas A&M, and Texas.
Yeah, I mean,
what else is this guy into?
I think we call that a whore.
So yeah, I mean, does he like wearing masks and stuffing socks in mouths? I mean, who knows? I don't know what that was about.
Yeah,
but
that took a dark turn, Ryan.
I mean, you can't. We spent a weekend in College Station.
I was wondering where you're going with this.
He's programmed. Like, how do you deprogram that quickly to get right into?
To be fair,
Matthew McConaughey's asshole?
I'd rather live in Austin than College Station.
Oh, I mean, no disrespect by this, but the parades in Austin are better. No disrespect. All right, you wanna anything you wanna throw out there on the SEC, Sean?
No, I was gonna mention I was randomly at a casino yesterday, Ryan, in Arizona.
What do you mean random?
Well, I guess it wasn't that random. I really wanted to go, and I looked it up because I had the NFL slot machine.
That's like when my daughter says, "Can I ask you a question?" Yeah.
I randomly ended up at this place where I looked up the website to see if they had the NFL slot machine.
So I was gambling on a Monday.
Yeah, golfed all day. It was a great day. I flew to Phoenix from Burbank, took the first flight out, golfed all day. Then just hung out at a casino for 4 or 5 hours and then flew back Burbank. It was a fun day. Had a little luck with the slot machine, then gave some back. Blackjack, similar thing. But
I was very jealous when I saw the video.
Oh,
I said,
yeah.
Fuck.
I thought it was. I thought it was stock footage that he had.
No,
I mean, I literally made that. Like the VSiN guys tried to point the camera at the slot machine so we could just look at it.
We are going to be there next Monday through Wednesday, July 1st through the 3rd, filling in VSiN 3 to 6 o'clock Pacific. So we will be there hanging out with the legendary slot machine, Derek, Big Balls, the crew. But
good reason to sub to the YouTube channel because we might pop going live at the slot machine.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun. So so it's me and my buddy Justin from the Dired Eagles podcast playing blackjack, and then this like young couple walks by, and the dealer's like, "Come on, sit down," and you can tell, "Oh yeah, I guess I'll sit down." It's like a dude in mid-20s, very attractive Filipino girlfriend,
nice.
And he starts playing first hand, Ryan. He's sitting on a 14 against a 10 and he stands. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready to leave.
No.
But then I win.
I too live dangerous.
But then Justin wins. And then we go on this insane heater thanks to this guy who's playing like a total asshole and he's winning. He cashed in $200. He got it up to $1,000. The best part was he was talking to his girlfriend. She's like, how do you know what to do? He's like, there's like this chart and whatever, but like, I really know the game well. And I'm like biting my tongue because
you can't chime in there.
And I didn't want to embarrass him in front of
Keanu Reeves.
And he was winning so much money, and the table the dealer kept busting. So his strategy of playing horrible blackjack was working out. And then as soon as he gets up, table immediately goes cold. It was so hilarious.
Maybe a witch.
What?
Maybe he was a witch.
Oh, well, if you're a dude, you're a Wiccan. Yeah. But
the same thing.
Yeah, he was a shout out to that guy living his best life. It was really hilarious. And then right as he left, table went immediately cold. So shout out to Blackjack. We'll be playing some. And shout out to the winner of last week's Patreon Pick'em, Ryan.
Yes.
Was a $100 circuit ticket. And we're gonna run that back for this week. But
I love that.
He asked for this week's Patreon Pick'em, again, free weekly Pick'em if you're a Patreon member. He asked, instead of the $100 circuit ticket, could I just get you guys to play $100 worth of the NFL slot machine? I'm like, great idea. So either you want a $100 futures ticket. I think this guy was a Jets fan, so $100 on the Jets to win the Super Bowl, or You can just put $100 in the
$10
Jet slot
spins,
machine.
or what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, we'll leave it up to him.
My thought is, he can pick the team, but my pitch would be is we join him.
Yeah, we pool together some company money. He gets a stake.
A little three-way action into a $10 spin McGillicuddy.
Little three-way slot machine.
Right.
So stay tuned to that. Sign up for the Patreon.
And shout out to the return of Bobby Knight.
Oh yeah, I mean, Sean broke it. Tried to get rid of Bobby Knight, but it has returned. I think there's been some other famous people in history who have been resurrected, like the Undertaker. One of the great resurrections of all time. All right. Anything else we want to add? SEC cowards not doing a 9-game schedule.
I mean that is weak sauce.
Do you think the SEC? So I do think that the SEC at some point they're going to walk into the rake a little bit, and them thinking that they just have to be different than anyone else. I actually think them not doing the 9-game schedule is going to be a problem. Like they should conform to conform, but also all the fuckery they've been trying to work on, like SEC gets the auto buy. That's a dumb idea anyway.
And they're like Greg Sankey's the driving force behind the NCAA tournament expanding, which looks like it's going to happen.
Let's not even bring up college basketball expanding. That's fucking unbelievably.
Insane. Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. That's.
I mean,
it just shows you how fucking dumb they are.
You had it figured out.
You're so
Stop
dumb.
messing with
You're
it.
so dumb. You're so dumb. You have one of the most popular events.
College sports just can't have two tournaments that are the right size at the same time. We'll never see it in our life. Because then,
it's like, then the dumb motherfuckers. You can't just say more. Yeah. It doesn't work. More doesn't always equate to more. Fucking dumb. This is why idiocracy is true. The world's getting dumb, and everyone thinks they're a fucking capitalist. More.
College basketball is great because there's enough teams that get in that the regular season matters. It's competitive. The tournament's great.
The bubble is like, we didn't
even need the play-in games. Okay, fine. They're fun. A little appetizer for the main course, but don't add to it. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, it devalues the
conference tournaments is what it really devalues.
And the regular season. Cause if you're Kentucky, just fucking around, you're going to end up 15 and 17 and you're going to get in.
If you want more tournament games, you don't need to touch March Madness. Just have a all conferences loser pool. You get knocked out of your conference tournament. If you would like to proceed, you can proceed
for it.
In a losers pool. There's 2 bids that come out of it or something like that. It's all major conferences or whatever. But like their solutions are always dumb, and it always comes with some fucking consultant firm that spent thousands of hours trying to solve this problem. All stupid. Just hire a bunch of fucking. I guess what's the new game? It's the kids are still playing Madden. Hire a bunch of kids that do this. Maybe now that NCAA the video game's back, hire some kids who already ran through like 25 seasons in the game, and find out why aren't we simulating this stuff? All right, Alabama. Anything else we want to talk about?
No, Alabama. What do we got?
Quick aside about Alabama. When I saw Virginia Tech play Alabama in Atlanta, in 2007, Ryan Williams had a nice punt return in that game. It was a sweat. We were close, but the sound of a person from Alabama saying "Roll Tide" as Alabama has just beaten you is the worst thing in the world. Alabama entering a new world as Nick Saban. He's retired, but he's going to lurk. It's not going to be Coach K. It's going to be Roy Williams. He's going to be sitting there hanging out. Maybe he shows up to work one day and claims he's just a little senile. 8-0 last year, 11-1. I feel like some people may forget that they ended up that well. It doesn't seem like Milroe gets much of the credit, but now regression expected with the new coach DeBoer. Is it DeBauer or DeBoer?
DeBoer, I think it is.
DeBoer from Washington, who and it does seem like they need to figure out the rule when a coach comes in late, because it's like this weird one-way transfer portal thing where they can't really do anything to backfill the guys they lose that they're allowed to lose because the coach is new. And it just seems in general you want to fade those teams. Alabama 9.5 this year seems a little high. Plus 110 to the over, minus 140 to the under, plus 750 to win the conference, plus 125 to make the playoff, minus 150 no. Look long and hard at that no right there. 15-1 to win the college football championship seems crazy to me. I understand the case for the creative mind offensively, and we watched Washington play last year, and I know that the Pac-12 was a good conference, but the idea that he's going to come in and immediately replace the guy, it's always impossible to replace the guy. But I've also heard or read 3 different pieces from 3 different journalists who cover college football discussing how much he is redecorating the place. That is a red flag. You're focused on making sure you get a new office look. I'm worried. I mean,
you gotta put your flavor in the environment.
I totally agree. But just too much focused on that.
I feel like we always talk ourselves into.
Why do you want
to
change winning?
And they always shove it down our throats.
But this is different.
Okay.
When's the last time we talked about Alabama without Nick Saban? Never. Podcast didn't exist.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
podcast.
There's a guy named Bear Bryant who won a shit ton of national championships.
What year did he take?
I like Bear Bryant. I don't like this Nick Saban character.
But what were they before Nick Saban? Do you remember?
No, they struggled. They had Don Shula's son, David Shula. They lost at Hawaii to June Jones, friend of the program. Let's plug that episode.
And Alabama is one of the key teams you target now that we're leaving an era where the cheating was a little bit more crafty and concentrated. Everyone can do it. What's the appeal of going to Alabama? It's no longer you're playing for Nick Saban, an all-time great. So tell me why. It doesn't have that same appeal that LSU has to the people in LSU either. It seems your neighboring states have deep competition. I just don't. I don't see.
I still think they have a decent roster with what Saban had. Now they lost some experience, but they still have a bunch of talented players.
Yeah, but they're not 15-1 to win the Natty type of roster anymore. That's
no,
my
I wouldn't.
point.
I wouldn't take them to win the
like are they
college football
gonna
playoff championship. But to the way SEC does their scheduling, them going 10-2 in the regular season, I don't think is crazy.
But he didn't get like even that. I've heard Colby chirping about it, but they even gave him a little back-to-back road gimmick in there. And so wait, no.
They take care of their.
No, they don't have back-to-back.
Who got the back-to-back road spot here?
Is it Texas?
Maybe you're right.
They got Georgia at home.
But yeah, I don't know. If
they got Auburn at home.
The Auburn at home is fine. They have. I mean, the Wisconsin.
So who are your 3 losses, Ryan?
The Wisconsin spot is definitely one you got to circle. We have no idea what this team is going to be. The idea that Nick Saban is going to leave and there's going to be no impact to this team is, to me, it seems silly. So I think Wisconsin is a losable game. I think Georgia is obviously a losable game. I think at Tennessee is a losable game. I don't know how you guys feel about Missouri, but I know that it's in Alabama, but that's going to be a tough scrap. They're on the road for LSU. That's always tough to take on the Tigers in Death Valley. Yeah, at Oklahoma, that's new territory here. I think there's plenty of losable games. I mean, Mercer on November 16th, that's probably a win. But yeah, I do think there's more losable games than you typically see on an Alabama schedule. And I like the story of Jason Milroe. I don't think Jalen. What did I say?
Yeah,
oh, Jason. Jalen Milroe. I just don't think he's this. I mean, we watched him. He's had moments where he could have been. I'm fascinated by seeing Kalen DeBauer with him. I think that's going to be a very interesting thing. You think it's going to be easy for him to pick that up? I just think I wonder if they run him more, and I think Kalen DeBauer adapts to his roster well. This is a guy that coached in the NAIA championship 3 straight years. I can't talk. But I'll tell you this, I agree with you though, man. There's too many moving pieces. First off, he was 8-0 in 1-score games at Washington last year. I just think regression is due. Look, and then you add a trip to Wisconsin will burn down if they win that game. Now I still favor Alabama, but you're still going on the road to Wisconsin. You're also get rid of the Vanderbilt game. At least for Vanderbilt's sake, it's actually good their stadium's under construction because that would all be Alabama fans. But Tennessee, I got them as a dog in Tennessee there. I think Tennessee should be favored in that game. I have LSU favored.
in the game there, and just because Brian Kelly and them return, I think they
point.
know what he wants.
They'll be
they
dog
know,
in 3 games.
well, and then Oklahoma to me is the one. I mean, look, by that point, Oklahoma starting Jackson Arnold, an inexperienced quarterback, but he's a super talented quarterback. By that point, he's going to be pretty much in his second year of starting. I think I would favor those 3 teams to beat Alabama right now. But like I said, even if they don't get the Oklahoma game, because that you can talk me into that one being, hey, Oklahoma's not that good. They still play Georgia. We haven't even mentioned Georgia yet. So it's like Georgia, Mizzou. There's just too much meat on the bone here.
Yeah, I'm an Oklahoma hater, but I do think they the idea that they could be a team that has like a really, really stout defense and is able to do enough to give some of these teams, because it's also a new road spot. I think
they'll go 9-3. It's just, and they're probably they could still get into the playoffs then. But
yeah, maybe I'm completely delirious. But yeah,
what do you think they go, Ryan?
Oh, I think Colby's probably right on, but I think there's a floor there.
They could go 8-4 though. There's a lot.
I'm gonna go over because the juice. I'm not laying -140 to fade Alabama. Give me the over.
All right. Yeah, I just think there's a lot of losable spots, and that's and I just, it's so unknown what they're gonna look like with a completely new coach.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lock this up, but I 10-2 feels right for this Alabama team.
Arkansas,
number 1 special teams unit according to Phil Steele.
Under Saban.
Yeah.
Okay. Is he coaching this year?
He might. He's at the spring game.
He is lurking, which
he's like Coach K. They're gonna strike.
To me, that's something that I think is a negative thing.
Yeah,
I know.
Coach K didn't strike though. He stayed away.
He stayed away for the most part. He showed up, I think, to the what was it, the Carolina game? I think he showed up
for now.
But Roy Williams was like bringing cookies every day.
I'm still predicting he comes
That's
back.
what Saban's up to. He's, you know what? He didn't want to retire. He's got nothing to do. He hates his wife. Arkansas. You wanna say something for the Arkansas fans?
Woo pig, suey, woo pig.
That was actually
woo pig.
That was better than normal. 1-7 in conference last year. I don't think that's going to get much better this year. 4-8 overall.
Look, sometimes the planet gets things wrong.
Okay,
and sometimes the planet gets things right. And I'm glad.
Here. This is deep.
I'm glad that we're back to, because we've had a dark. You know, what year was that? Let's say it was. It's been some dark times. I want to say since the year 2011. Ever since then, we've been struggling as a society. Josh, can you play the photo that show the photo that I sent you in Slack?
Colby, while you're pulling that
only
up,
time Colby uses Slack is to send over photos he wants on the show.
I'll read off the total while you do that, Josh. 4.5 is the total, -110 each way. 230 to 1 to win the conference, and only somehow 400 to 1 to win the national championship. Shows you how good the old SEC is, Sean. I don't know. I think Arkansas is one of the teams that was already pretty hurt by the expansion, and now it's only gotten worse. So,
but the world is all right again. The world is all right again. Do I need it? Can I send you it?
I don't know. Josh, you got it? Where's Josh?
Anyway, look, the world is all right again. And what I'm referring to.
Yes, Josh is on it.
Is look, this guy, Sam Pittman's on the hot seat. Sam Pulled Pork Pittman is on the hot seat.
Why?
Because this is his fourth or fifth year. So
there we go.
There we go. We're home. He is back.
Is that you? Is that the Photoshop?
No, that's the real. That's the real deal.
I only acknowledge the one with Colby's face Photoshop.
It does kind of look like the Photoshop. I love that he's back.
Look at that smile on his face.
I mean, just everything. Dude, he's
got road rash. He's got his neck in a neck brace.
Let's talk about this because Arkansas.
That must be some good pussy.
Do you remember?
Look at him. He's smiling.
Do you remember
his whole life is falling apart. He's wearing a neck brace, and his face looks like he's got 3rd-degree burns from road rash, and he's still cracking a smile.
I call him road rash face. I love that. But
his offense is good.
Hold on. Hear me out here. He goes 5-7 in Arkansas in his first year. 8-5 in 2009, 10-3 in 2010, 11-2 in 2011, right?
Yeah.
They fire him for some little dust up with his mistress, right? Who happened to be an intern working
dust
for
up
the university.
was with the road, actually.
Yeah, that's true. That was a dust up with the road.
It is hilarious they brought him back.
Well, they chanted Petrino at the basketball game, dude. When they hired him.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious because they
People
said
like that
you we're firing you. You went 11-2 since they've joined the SEC. That's the best season they've ever had, and they fired him just for having a little intern dust up, and for them to then fire him and say like this is unethical, get out of here, and then to bring him back. The world is back on its axis. Own who you are, SEC. Arkansas was playing like pretending like they weren't fucking scumbags. Yes, you're scumbags. We know you're scumbags. Own who you are. Yeah. They did it. And I have a theory on that. If the crowd was chanting, guess what? Sam Pork Pittman, if he doesn't make it through the first 4 games, they're going to fire him. And your interim head coach is going to be Road Rash.
You almost said intern head coach. And they certainly were our buddy Phil Steele labels them a bull market team. Big part is the net close losses. Like they had a bunch of close losses. They only have 3. If you look at their schedule, what do they have? 3 true road SEC games.
I mean, who was their quarterback last year?
He's gone now, but they brought in Taylor Green.
He was able to hide, like he was able to do stuff when the team couldn't do stuff.
Have you seen this Taylor Green kid?
Am I gonna like him?
He reminds me of Josh Allen.
Whoa!
But not Josh Allen on the Bills.
Because Josh Allen
at
sucked in college. Yeah.
No, he showed flashes. He's raw as fuck, but he has absolute moments where you just go, "Oh my god!"
He sucks some of the time, but he's also really awesome some of the time.
Well, he's got to work on like his short passing and accuracy, Taylor Green. But god damn it, is this guy fast and like massive, and just and like there's certain throws where you just like this motherfucker just threw the ball 70 yards just like this. You know what I
Joe
mean?
Milton.
He's not very accurate, but man, is he?
No, he
big.
can be at times.
So
consistency.
4.5. How many conference games do they have to win? I mean, they got the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions. I'm going to count that as a win. They got the UAB Blazers.
Is that the new?
Count that as a win.
Is that the new China restaurant there? In
Are we sure the Blazers are a win?
Peking Duck. Yeah, they can beat the Blazers at home.
Are you sure about that?
That's Trent Dilfer as head coach there.
Yeah.
I am not impressed with the current game.
No.
Right? I love how you had that great, shitting on all the quarterbacks, but then I think most quarterbacks watching UAB saying I am not impressed with the current game. But look, this is this is the Indiana of the SEC.
Yeah.
Because if Petrino comes in, I actually do believe he's a very good head coach, right? And for college football. So I actually could see them knocking off some of these teams with him as head coach. And I like Sam Pork Pittman. I don't want him to get fired, but I think the plan has already been put together. If you have the whole damn basketball arena chanting Petrino in the middle of a game, I'm terrified that Pork Pittman's fired by that first bye week.
Their schedule's really hard.
Yeah, no, they only have 3 true road SEC, but their home games are brutal.
Also,
I mean, they got.
Yeah, their first bye week is October 12th, which is late compared to
they got LSU at home, Ole Miss at home, Texas at home, at Missouri.
It's very. I mean,
the Texas A&M and a neutral at Jerry's World.
Well,
the number's 4.5. You said though,
yeah,
because Pine Bluff,
that's one.
UAB and La Tech is they're gonna have
3.
Yeah, they're gonna have an interim coach by then.
I love the November 23rd in the SEC. That's the week where everyone gets the big dogs. Mercer's coming out.
It just means more.
Sanford's probably
I'm gonna go over.
I'm gonna go over too because I'm hoping Road Rash Face gets on this action.
They could have some moments where they surprise you. And again, they were what 4-7 last year with all those close losses.
This is the one we could really be wrong on though. Like
come on.
Like I'm gonna take Petrino because this is. The potential is there. Like I truly believe if he comes in, they can knock off teams. They can knock off Ole Miss at home. They can knock off. They're going to beat Mississippi State at Mississippi State.
They were 4-8 last year. They didn't get better.
True, but they did by bringing in Bobby Petrino.
Yeah, come on.
But the
mojo's back. The prodigal son has returned, Ryan.
Yeah.
Do you not know anything about
He's got an
narratives?
NIL deal with the motorcycle company.
Can we clear something up in my head?
Yes.
She was riding in a sidecar in the motorcycle, right?
I thought she was holding on.
No,
to the
I
back.
think she's just on the back. Right?
Okay. I don't know for some reason.
You're thinking a side piece.
No,
she was the side piece.
You
but she
think
was
Bobby
in the
Petrino's
sidecar.
rolling around Fayetteville with the sidecar?
Come on,
Yeah,
dude. That's. I mean,
the entire time I thought.
I hope that's true. I hope
I
I'm
thought-
wrong and
you
you're
wouldn't
right.
be smiling like that ear to ear if you had a sidecar.
Are we sure? It would have been harder to tip. You're right.
Yeah, you can't flip a
All
sidecar.
right. I mean, I asked the question for a reason. I'm glad we got that cleared up. But in my head, it was a sidecar this whole time. I just imagine Bobby Petrino just. He's got 2 sidecars probably. If I know my guy Bobby.
Oh man, we could do a whole episode on this. Maybe that's what we do for the Patreon. Just talk about.
we
Bobby
should do
Petrino.
that. Yeah.
Bobby
all right.
Petrino told
Done.
passerby not to call 911.
Wait,
Wait, why don't you want me to call 911? Oh, I'm taking a look at the. Yeah, we should do. All right. Quick sidebar for the Patreon episodes, SGP stories. We should
right.
do forensic files where we go deep dive
I like
into some
this.
stories into
I
the
like
past.
this. I like.
I mean, I
this.
could do 10 minutes just looking at this motorcycle and this pile
All
of
right,
trees.
done.
Wait, can I send me that link?
Look at this.
Yeah,
thing.
I don't know that I've ever
guys,
seen the motorcycle.
We're trying to do an episode
Oh.
right now. Look, this is the worst
Can we?
thing.
Well, can we put
Sean's
the
already
motorcycle
got-
up on the screen? Can you send it to Josh?
Sean's
Put the
already got
motorcycle on
multiple
the screen.
tables of a blackjack going over there.
What?
Now,
No,
no.
But here's why you take the over, though.
Hold on, real quick. The passerby Larry describes coming upon the accident Sunday evening, just after Petrino and Jessica were getting up out of the ditch. He said Petrino was walking, but it looked like his face was bleeding quite a lot. He's still smiling.
How do you
Some
think
good
he
pussy.
crashed? Like she did a reach around or something, and
He's
just
way off the road. All right. Where are we? Yeah, taking the over.
Forensic files.
Taking the over 4.5. Arkansas locked it up. Hey, you know what our lock is for contests where you can win millions of dollars? That's right, Circa Sports, Circa Survivor, $10 million. Circa Millions, $6 million. Circa Millions, of course, picking 5 NFL teams against the spread each week. They got quarterly prizes. They got booby prizes if you come in last. So fun. These are a great tradition. We love playing these contests. We've gotten pretty far in Survivor. We've had some decent runs in the Circa Millions. This year's the year. Maybe we take it home. Maybe you take it home. Get one of those giant checks hanging out with Derek. You can sign up in Las Vegas or Reno, and you can play from anywhere across the globe. You just hire a proxy. We got a football contest proxy.com, promo code SGP. Got a sweet $50 off the proxy services. Come out. We're going to be out in Vegas a bunch this summer. Like I said, July 1st through 3rd. We're also filling in for the morning show the week of July 22nd. We're going to be out there for Bet Bash early August. And of course, contest weekend, August 22nd through the 24th. Come out. We got an open bar event. If you sign up then that weekend, that weekend definitely is a good weekend to do it. We'll be doing some live shows, live podcasts. So great reason to come out, hang out, and get down on the contest. And of course, Underdog Fantasy as well. Not only do they have Pick 8 where you can win 325 times your entry, they have a deposit bonus going now. 10% deposit bonus if you deposit between now and UFC 303. I think it's a $75 max, but again, that's not for new customers. If you're an existing customer, that works for you as well. They're running so many specials, including a bunch for UFC 303. And if you're a new customer, you get the deposit match up to $250 in bonus cash and that nice bonus pick'em. Use promo code SGPN, underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN.
All right. Well, I mean, I think just in that we almost need to have a sidebar conversation about the idea of us doing a sports forensic files.
I have the sound.
Full show. I mean, that is
We can call it forensic sports, Ryan.
I like this.
I mean, I'm just
really
off
like
the
this
top
idea.
of my head. I'm just thinking of coaching controversies. There's a
Yes.
million, and I'm also thinking about the 10-part mini series we could do on ePay.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many
All right.
stories where we kind of we give our 2 cents, but I mean, imagine just a full episode just talking about Bobby.
If you would
Petrino.
like to be a research intern on a crime,
my wife is great at researching these stories. I'll get her on it, help out.
All right. So
Auburn
keeping the under train going, by the way. Auburn. Who knows? Auburn getting a little bit of respect in the odds. They were 3-5 in conference last year, 6-6 overall. The total's at 7.5 plus 125 to the over, minus 150 to the under, which basically adjusted down to almost a 7 flat. 55 to 1 to win the conference, 7 to 1 to make the playoff, minus 1200 to miss, 150 to 1 to win the national championship.
See, Arkansas, if you're listening to this, take a page from Auburn. They go out, they hire Hugh Strip Club Freeze, right? Who not only had the complete scandal with blaming everything on Houston Nutt at Ole Miss.
That was excellent.
You also had his strip club.
That was so great.
His strip club antics.
That guy.
His strip club antics with and shout out to, I'm reading the story right now on this strip club in Starkville. Jerry Westland, the owner of the Pony in Starkville, Mississippi. He has he had a Hugh Freeze tribute party, right?
I'm just picturing one of those parties where they bring out the flashing, flaming bottles of champagne.
But then when he goes to Liberty,
fucking Hugh Freeze.
when he goes to Liberty, he's DMing this sex assault survivor all this mean shit, questioning what she's doing. But Auburn hires him with all that behind them.
Yeah, not a big deal.
He wasn't. They hire him and they say, "Well, here's the one catch.
Can you coach ball?
Cannot have a phone from the university."
Yeah, I mean that's
just don't have a phone that we own.
Yes. That's I'm not making this up. This is part of his contract.
Yeah,
he cannot be. He's not even allowed on social media.
Well, that's smart. That's how you
know who you are. Auburn knows that they're scumbags. We can't give. He's such a scumbag. We can't even give him the guy a fucking phone. But you know what? He wins football games.
It is pretty funny. Like it's like they went to the IT team and they're like, all right, we got Hugh Freeze coming back. What can we do with his phone to make sure he doesn't fuck up
we
again?
can just not give him a phone.
No, it's like he's like, there's nothing we can do to prevent him from sending his dick to people. So here's what we're gonna do. We're just not gonna give him the phone. That's the best solution I can. The IT guy was like, we just can't give him a phone.
and yeah, it's gold. I like this one too. This headline: he called the escort services at least 12 times on his Ole Miss phone. Only 12 times. I would have guessed more. See, the problem is he uses Ole Miss phone. That's what got him in trouble.
Well, did you see the Hugh Freeze? Why they were doing the Hugh Freeze tribute? Because apparently back in the day he banned his players from going to the strip club. Now I don't know.
But yet he's calling escorts for them.
Yeah, I think it must have just been some like hilarious. I don't know what his goal was there. Clearly some sort of PR stunt gone wrong.
I mean,
football wise though, am I crazy to like Auburn, Colby?
He's great football wise. He can win some games.
17 returning starters. It feels like year 2 for Hugh Freeze. This is when you might make a jump. Phil Steele has them as one of the most improved teams. I think their schedule seems manageable. I see why it's at 7.5. I think there's a chance they go on a bit of a run here. Am I crazy, Colby?
Oh man, my thing is I thought they were going to get a better quarterback. Peyton Thorne.
What's your take on Peyton Thorne?
Well, he had he had like a pretty good year at Michigan State, but he's like a drop back passer. They ran him. He's like not a running quarterback. He had over 500 yards rushing last year, and it's like what? And I know their receivers were depleted. They went out and tried to get a bunch of receivers, but I don't know. I feel like he's just got to prove it to me. That was not the super impressive first year. And now you look at the schedule. Now I will say
tough schedule.
I will say the first 4 weeks though line up pretty damn nice. So you could really build momentum there. But I right now I think Oklahoma's better than Auburn. So that game, it becomes a little tricky on September 28th. But then you look after that, like at Georgia, at Missouri, at Kentucky. I don't know that they win any of those. Maybe the Kentucky game. Home to Vandy's nice, but Diego pissing Pavia is now at Vanderbilt, the New Mexico State quarterback that pissed on the logo that beat Auburn at Auburn last year at New Mexico State. He's now Vanderbilt's starting quarterback. 7.5 because I see like 3, 4. I lean under. I think A&M's better than them. It's
You
a
need them
trap
to beat
spot,
Alabama.
though. I think they're probably 7-5 if I had to guess.
Yeah, because to your point, if they come out hot and they're a 4-0, then they drop 4 in a row. They catch 2 wins. What's that? 6 and 4.
Yeah,
they need to beat.
And let's just give them one of the 50-50 games.
They would need to beat A&M and Alabama. And that's
no, they're not going to win it at Alabama. They hardly ever.
So
win.
even if they, this is under. We got there. Oh, this is amazing. I'm not taking any over.
I'm sticking with the over.
Really?
I think they can make a jump. I see Colby's concern with the quarterback position, but yeah, I'm a little more optimistic on Auburn.
Yeah, maybe.
They definitely got better on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, maybe they'll pour a little too much focus into beating Alabama this year. Alabama is vulnerable. Florida, the Gators, they were 3-5 in conference. A lot of bad records in conference last year, guys. How's this going to work out? 5-7 overall. Ooh, Florida 4.5 is the total. Colby, what happened here? -150 to the over, +125 to the under. 131 on 130 to 1 to win the conference, 300 to 1 to win the whole thing.
Look,
Florida used to be good.
A lot of times, and their head coach is currently getting sued by a former recruit.
What happened?
He promised him $13 million, I think it was, and none of it came in.
Not contractually binding.
But
scumbag coaches.
But wait, this is normally a lot of times I do think like, okay, the SEC schedules can be kind of bullshit to me. Like you get. Yes, you play some great teams, but you get a lot of bullshit non-con games because of the 8-game schedule. So I argue that 23rd. A lot of times on the college football experience, but Florida actually has the hardest schedule in the nation. It is a pretty ridiculous schedule. When you look at it, you're just like, okay, with the exception of Samford, they could lose every single game on the schedule. Every other team is capable of beating them. Their non-con, shout out to whoever is the athletic director at the University of Florida. He couldn't have known that the SEC was going to give him Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, and Florida State in a row. Well, Florida State was.
Is their system completely random?
Listen to this. Yeah. Listen to this schedule at Mississippi State, which, all right, that's still in Starkville. Then they have a bye. Then UCF at home, at Tennessee, Kentucky, bye, Georgia at home, at Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, at Florida State.
I mean, there's a good chance that
Georgia's
the final 5 teams, the final 5 teams could be 10-win teams. See,
now this is an under.
Well, the non-con is awesome. Like the athletic director, I know everyone's giving him a hard time about this. Normally, it's not this much meat on the bone.
Sucks that you get a hard time for having a good teams on your schedule.
Well, I love the non-con. Miami, UCF, Florida State. It's like you're all your powers in the state of Florida.
Samford.
Yeah, well, Samford's the only. At least they play him in September.
But I like the idea of playing a state championship.
Yeah, it's fucking great for the sport, in my opinion. Like it's going to enhance. That Miami game is like the loser's going to be so on the hot seat. That's the real question here. Is with this lawsuit pending, there might be a way they might be able to get off the hook on his buyout. It's like Mel Tucker's situation. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens there. But
are they? Which means they're trying to get him. Like these SEC schools probably have a whole department of.
With Brian Harsin with Auburn
to get him fired.
Poor Brian Harsin. They were making up stories that he was cheating on his wife and he wasn't.
Phone the get him fired department. I mean, imagine that too. He's got to go home and deal with his wife. What a fucking. I mean, how much money did he get from Auburn?
He did get like 34 million.
Good
I
for
feel
him.
like. But
fuck that.
Let's talk about this though. That Miami game is huge because it's at the Swamp. If they're able to win that game, I think they might be able to hit this. The question is this is almost like the Arkansas play because at some point
they got a letdown spot against Samford though.
Well, they're probably going to fire him, and when they fire him, these teams they normally quit. Like if you go back the past few teams in the SEC where your season hasn't gone the way you thought, and you bring in an interim, normally they suck ass. So it makes it very interesting.
After their second bye week, Colby, how many games do you have them winning? Those last 5?
Oh None in the last 5. I mean, maybe Ole Miss because I think Ole Miss could be a little.
So, and I don't know
overrated.
if they can get to 5 in their first 7 either.
Well, the
What
Miami game, Miami they could win. If Miami's been known to be a dud, so like they could win that game. Samford's a win. Mississippi State could be a win. UCF could be a win. That'd be 4, and then you just need one more. But you also got to hope he doesn't get fired. He might get fired by the Kentucky game.
I think if for this to work, they got to go 4-0 to start the season. It seems very unlikely that's going to happen. Because if they go 4-0, I like UCF, Kentucky. I don't think. I mean, it just this is like just going to continue this, but another under.
Colby, what are you doing?
It's 4.5.
Yeah,
Give me the over 5 and 7.
That's pretty low. That's a low number.
They're gonna go 5 and 7.
I have a feeling.
You ready for the wins? Miami, Samford, Mississippi State, Kentucky, and Ole Miss.
Yeah, I don't see it.
They're gonna.
I'm going under. Graham Mertz, love fading that guy. That's all you need.
He's solid. That's
no. Who am I kidding? Give me the under. He's gonna be fired. You can't take this. You can't take this because you don't know. He could be fired by September 21st. He could be fired before they even start the season because of this shit going on. So yeah, okay. Give me the under.
Georgia.
Graham Mertz, him leave. It was so fun to fade him when he was at Wisconsin.
First guy to get an NIL deal.
Yeah, remember that he like trademarked his name or something weird.
What did he call himself? Like the Mertzinator?
He's like selling T-shirts or something with his name on it or something. I don't remember.
You got
what it was.
Mertz.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Georgia 8-0 last year, 12-0 overall. They're back. 10.5 this year is the total. -120 to the over, +100 to the under, +190 to win the conference, -500 to make the playoff, +360 to miss it, 3-1 to win the national championship. Holy shit! Now, are we getting a discount here?
What are we
on the win
to?
total?
Yeah, I mean, I like the
They've
over.
boat raced this conference for the past couple
But
years.
they also were in the SEC East, and that is a difference maker.
True.
Right?
That's true. But I mean, yeah. Also, the last game they played, they lost, and it's easy
To an SEC West team.
to Alabama. Yeah.
Yeah. And Alabama's on the schedule this year. Now it's in September, which
Feels
I think
like
is
you can
when
get
you
them to
play them.
I don't think it's. I don't know. Their defense is so good. It's really tough to fade them. But you look at their schedule, getting them to 2 losses, I feel like it's possible. But
They'd have to lose both.
Look at some of
games.
their, number 1 offensive line unit, number 3 linebacker unit, number 2 quarterback. Like they're just
Me,
they're so stacked. It's crazy.
this is the I actually think some of the stuff that's happened in the conference only makes their dominance greater.
But you got at Texas, at Ole Miss, at Auburn, at Kentucky.
If you look at where this is why I think we should play the over is they get Alabama in September. When do you want to get a first year coach in September?
Early.
They also have a bye week before that. And then guess when they get Texas? The week after the Red River Shootout. Texas lost last year, so I'm kind of anticipating Texas to win the Red River Shootout this year. Talk all that shit to Kentucky or to Oklahoma, and then the very next week they got to play Georgia, and I think Georgia will fuck them up then. So I just think if they lose one, it's one of those 2 games, right? I think maybe Ole Miss in Oxford at the Grove. They lost the last time they went there, which was like 20 fucking years ago because they were in these stupid divisions. But
not concerned about UMass on November 23rd.
Shout out to the SEC for they didn't let us know, and I'm assuming tomorrow we'll be covering UMass because I was impressed to see UMass have 3 SEC games on the schedule this year.
Yeah, so they are in part 2 of the SEC.
Honorary.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over Georgia 10.5, and I am moving Alabama back to under.
Ooh,
9.5.
welcome back to the
what happened over there?
right side of the park.
I don't know. Doing the math.
The Clemson game to open the year to me is the game that they lose. If they
Really?
lose.
Really? In Atlanta, in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
No, that's the game.
Chick-fil-A will be open.
That's the game they lose. I think the rest of the schedule, like they will be so dialed in for the Bama and Texas games.
They
And
just
like,
their
like Colby
defense is
said,
so
they're
good.
positive
They gave him the
spots.
Texas spot. That's like the most perfect
then-
fucking spot.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were after the Red
And then
River
pretty
Shootout.
much every other game, it's like, well, how is Georgia not going to win this one? I don't know. And yeah, I mean, yeah, you in theory they should be taking a nice step too.
I mean, they could go 12-0. They could go 12.
Are they better? Do they have more talent this year than they had last year?
Yes, and
That's insane.
but the only thing I'll say is last year they did have a couple games. I think it was a South Carolina game that was what 24-14. That was at home, and then Missouri. They got tested a little bit more.
They lost a lot of talent the year before in the NFL draft,
but they're much better this year.
They were down, and now some of that talent's reloaded. To me, this is the best. This is the best. This is the best bet we've talked about by far.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it too.
It's like Saban's gone. There's all this other stuff moving around. It's like I'm not worried about.
There's a ton of continuity.
And even if DeBauer got him,
quarterback,
Georgia is going to
defense.
be so much more physical than Texas.
Yeah, what's I'm saying.
game.
One of those two teams, even if they got him, they're not going to lose both.
Any chance we see Arch Manning in that?
At the parade after they beat Oklahoma. Yeah.
See him on Peyton's Places.
Wow.
Remember, he's not in the video game.
Yeah, he's holding out.
Yeah.
Well,
He's not on the team.
I do my work on the real field.
His
What a stupid
Fucking jackass.
What a stupid logic. Hey, if you guys sign up with Rhythm, go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Claim your free 7-day trial. Why would you want Rhythm? I'll tell you why. It's the place for AI sports picks and props. Get you set up. It's pretty sweet. You can create your own gambling model, perfect for player props, sides, totals. And it's cool because you can pick the stats. You can customize the stats that you find important, and they will build you a model based off those stats. Or if you're like, I don't know what stats are important, I just want some free picks. They got you covered with that as well. They've been killing it in the WNBA and golf right now. Two sports active, and their model really crushes it. Great for golf props. I was suspect that you could find a model that could really take care of golf, and it's been doing really well. Free 7-day trial. Try it out. I think you're going to like it. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rithmm.
All right, you want to talk about Kentucky? Mark Stoops' feet must be up. Very weird offseason for the Kentucky coaches, but
well, he celebrates. He tells his team he's taking the Texas A&M job. Yep. Texas A&M was just doing one of those classic. I feel like a lot of schools do this now, where they put that out on Twitter before they actually sign the deal. Check fans' reactions, and then College Station was going crazy, so they're like, "No, we're just kidding, Mark," or and then they hired Mike Elko, and then but at the same time, Stoops kind of wins because Calipari's gone, who he was riffing with, saying that we're not a basketball school, we're Calipari wanted more money and football was driving everything, so he kind of won still in a way.
Stoops, we always like to talk about his contract. He did take this off season to leverage it to get his assistants more money, which is you always like to see that. Coach Beamer used to he had one of the highest paid assistant staffs, so that was one of the main things Stoops took care of here. But let's not forget, and by the way, one of those assistants is his brother Mike Stoops,
former Arizona coach.
He's the linebackers coach. He got a bump to $675K in 2024. But the head man himself, who has the perpetual extension clause, of course, every year he gets 7 victories, aka bowl eligible. He gets another year tacked on there.
Problem is those days are gone.
He gets 2. What of winning that many games?
Your SEC East is gone.
He could be in trouble.
And
there.
Texas and Oklahoma just joined.
But what year is he signed through?
I forget. I don't know.
2031. So he's got some time.
He should renegotiate and get it down to 6.
I think this is a man. I mean, again, bowl eligibility is the game.
I'm looking under. I mean, I know they got strong offensive line, defensive line. They are bringing back decent number of starters, but I don't know. To Colby's point, they don't have the SEC.
No, but the schedule is up on. Well, that's
what's
fine.
What's the win total again?
6.5. 6. Oh yeah. So they were 7-5 last year. 6.5 minus 115 to the over. 95 to 1 to win the conference. 250 to 1 to win the national championship. When you look at their schedule, though, I do think there's winnable games. And so can they get to 7? Well, they have Southern Miss, South Carolina. They'll be favored in.
Beamer's had their number, I think.
Ohio, they'll be favored. Vandy, they'll be favored. Murray State, they'll be favored. They have a game against Louisville and Auburn
Governor's
at
Cup,
home.
man. I got Louisville getting revenge. Last year, Louisville should have beat
Texas.
Yeah.
The road game at Texas, at Tennessee, at Ole Miss, Georgia. Those are 4 losses to me.
So can they lose 2 more? I think they can. So yeah, I got them 6 and 6.
I'm not sure which games they lose. I think
South Carolina, I think has had Beamer's had his number. I believe. I think Beamer's won like every game against.
Should I take another under?
I'm gonna take the under.
All right, under.
I just think. I mean, they're gonna beat Southern Miss. Maybe even if they beat South Carolina, that's 2. Ohio 3. Vanderbilt beat them the last time they played in Lexington.
So if anyone gets wins in the SEC, Ryan's going to be sweating because he's got 5 unders right now.
You need 7. I could see. I just think 6 and 6 is the reality.
Yeah.
Again,
I feel like 500.
The alphabetical nature of the game.
So tune in to part 2 where Kramer's going to be crushing Vandy over.
I have more overs in the
Texas A&M over. Texas horns up.
Yeah, I don't appreciate this subjective judginess on my picks just because they're different than yours. It's 2024, Sean. Please, LSU 6-2. We Tigers. Love you, Coach O. 9-3 overall last year. We family now. 9.5 is the total this year. Plus 130 to the over. Minus 160 to the under. 10-1 to win the conference. Like that. To make the playoff plus 130 and 17-1 to win the Natty. Just based on how these odds are, love the SEC conference odds more than the national championship odds for just about every school. There will be schools from other conference that get in the mix here, and it's silly to have. I mean, the difference: LSU's 10-1 to win the conference and 17-1 to win the national championship.
Yeah, I don't think they're factoring in how many games you would have to win. Now, granted, if you won the SEC, you would have that first round bye, but
yeah, still,
it's like they're not doing the math. They're doing is, hey, it's probably going to be a team in the SEC that wins. So if you win the conference championship, but I don't know if it's necessarily correlated because we've never seen a 12-team playoff.
You'll have a bye, so you're already into the 8-team part.
Yeah, but
so
still,
you would 3 wins.
Is that
no.
three wins to me should be worth more than a plus 700 price difference?
And you're probably going to face that another SEC school again.
That being said, I do like LSU to go over.
This is a lock.
9.5.
9. The number's in flat 9. It's not 9.5, right?
9.5.
No, you're looking at the adjusted because you're getting plus 130 on the 9.5.
I'm just saying when I did the SEC or when I did the LSU preview,
we don't do flat numbers.
Okay.
We're
we like outcomes.
It's still I'm still locking it.
Colby, it's totally fine. Like
I'm still locking it.
We don't have a problem with people that do like flat numbers, but we prefer we
like outcomes.
We do the show with half numbers, so we never have pushes.
So you're just making it up, though, huh?
But if someone wants to lead that kind of lifestyle, that's fine.
Garrett Nussmeier did not realize this till we researching the episode. Kramer pointed it out. Garrett Nussmeier, his dad is the quarterback coach for the Eagles.
Oh boy.
He's a stud too. He's gonna be in the NFL.
All four SEC road games against losing teams.
That's what I'm saying. Year. This is a lock.
Yeah.
They'll lose. They're going to lose at Texas A&M because I feel like they always lose at Texas A&M. But the rest, you know what's great about the schedule?
We talked about this too with like Brian Kelly year 2. This is why we took LSU -3 against USC a while ago.
Well, you know what's great about the schedule too is how many first year coaches and then B how many coaches that there's a strong chance when they play Arkansas, they could be on the interim coach. And what happens if they don't name Bobby Petrino the interim coach, right? Also, Florida, Billy Napier won't be there November 16th, I bet.
No way.
Right?
No way.
This is a great schedule because also you get UCLA who if that was Chip Kelly, that was a hard, that looked like maybe a hard game. No, now that's a bye week, right? South Alabama's breaking in a new head coach. South Carolina's starting a freshman quarterback. When do you want them? Oh, in September. And then USC's trying to back out of the game. This is a lock, dude. This is going to hit. Like Alabama normally loses. I feel like, well, I shouldn't say normally, but a lot of years LSU gets them in.
Think they're going to take down the Nichols Colonels?
Love the Colonels.
I mean, yeah, I'm with you. Sean and I picked up some LSU to win the SEC in a little futures draft recently. I like the idea of Brian Kelly with more recruits and more talent. Another year into the system.
Yeah, this.
And
is
if you
their
want to talk about a guy that's got like looking around the SEC, kind of saying, it feels like people are talking about other teams.
Well, and what's great too is there's no Georgia or Texas on the schedule, and I'm adding a third one, Auburn, because those games are always fucking insane.
Well, Georgia and Texas are like the threat. So the fact that they do miss them makes this very interesting.
They play Bama, Bama and Oklahoma are the
At
teams
home.
you want in Baton Rouge. A&M's the only real tough road game they play all year.
Yeah, that's a little back to back.
They're gonna lose at A&M. That'll be the loss.
Little back to back road spot there. You got the battle for the boot. And then the trip to College Station. So, but there is a bye, and then Alabama. I mean, you could pick it apart and say it's tricky, but I'm with you, Colby.
I think it's a great.
Some of the
schedule.
stuff that looked trickier, like having USC and UCLA early in the season. I mean, I think they're a lock to be 5-0 going into the bye. I certainly think coming out, if Brian Kelly has things going and the quarterback's working, they're a national championship contender. And I love them at 10-1.
They have their bye weeks are perfectly spaced out. They're after November 2nd, their only road game is at Florida.
You want a good way to break this down is this. They had a absolutely horrible pass defense and defense in general. And they still went 9-3 last year.
Now, obviously, are we worried about Jaden Daniels? He did win the Heisman Trophy, not having him this year. I mean, I'm optimistic about Nussmeier, but Colby, what's your
stud?
take?
I think he's a stud. I'm not worried at all. And if anything, I think bringing in Blake Baker at DC, he'll tighten up that defense some. There's no reason why LSU should ever be in the 100s defensively. That won't happen again, which means, and like I said, like their schedule actually kind of breaks nice for them, in my opinion, by not getting Georgia and Texas.
Can we just have can't they just hire Coach O as like graduate assistant or something? Just get him on the sidelines.
I've been thinking about this. So the Louisiana Raging Cajuns, their coach is on the hot seat this year, Michael Desmorel. Raging Cajuns, Lafayette, Louisiana, Cajun Field, the original swamp. What would be better to have? The next year you go hire Coach
the Raging Cajun.
Come on, man.
I mean, he sounds like a Raging Cajun.
Come on, it's perfect.
Interesting. I was looking at the blue chip ratio.
So we're all over 9.5 for the LSU Tigers.
Yeah, I was looking at Bud Elliott's blue chip ratio because I wanted to see where LSU was. They are squarely near the top of the list, but. Interestingly enough, Auburn on the list if you exclude transfers. If you include transfers, they're not.
Interesting.
Feel free to swap. Plenty of room on the over train, guys. Hugh Freeze is going to take us out.
No. I think you have to look at the transfer one. That was my big takeaway. What's this? Was he on a boat too?
No, I'm sure at some point.
Does he have
These
a
guys, once you get dabble in the escort business, you also dabble in the boat.
He coached
business. They go hand in hand.
He coached at Liberty.
Remember the Vikings, Kramer?
Did you watch that documentary?
Yeah.
About the church sex guys.
Falwell.
Yeah,
Jerry Falwell.
I'm sure there was
nothing like going to Miami and jerking off in the corner of a room.
I bet you if he would have captured the Girls Gone Wild guy and just kept him prisoner.
You have to know when to come
for his own personal business. All right, Mississippi, aka Ole Miss, aka the alma mater of the great Eli Manning. They went 6-2 last year in conference, 10-2 overall. Rat poison himself, or whatever he's going by nowadays. Lane Kiffin. I feel like his act has grown old. Saban's gone, so he no longer. This is the Joker without Batman. What will he do? Who is he going to latch on to? Who's the new guy?
Well, they went all in on the portal. Besides losing Judkins to Ohio State, and
they do bring back Jackson Dart.
Yeah, and
does that excite you,
dude? This is what's cool about the 12-team playoff is. With NIL, I've never seen Ole Miss try this much. Like they are really going. They landed some huge guys in the portal that could really make. They're making their one. Walter Nolan, a 5-star from Texas A&M. to get Chris Paul, the linebacker from Arkansas.
Walter Nolan was one of the dudes who got the big bags from Texas A&M, right?
Yeah.
He got some of that Saudi money.
Yeah,
And now he's off to Ole Miss.
Exactly.
How
Playing
dumb are
the
these?
system.
Oh man, imagine people are going to look back at the kids who went through the NIL process in this like 5 to 10 year window and be like, these motherfuckers. Like it's all going to be unionized in the future, but these guys were just cashing in.
It is a good time.
I think they bring in some talent. They already have a bunch of returning starters. I would say though, they had a lot of close wins and massive turnover aggression loading for this Ole Miss team. I'm going to take the under and their schedule.
Is Lane Kiffin still the coach?
Yeah,
I'm out.
Their schedule is not particularly friendly. They do have a back-to-back road spot at South Carolina, the Gamecocks at LSU.
I guarantee you they lose that LSU game because they beat LSU last year and stormed the field.
Yeah.
Georgia at home. That's obviously like I think they could lose at. I think they could lose at South Carolina, at LSU,
total?
and Georgia at home.
What was that win total?
You only need to get the 3 losses.
9.5 minus 125 to the over, plus 105 to the under.
Yeah.
7-1 to win the conference, which the fact that their price is shorter than LSU is crazy to me. Minus 120, make playoff, plus 100 miss, 15-1 to win the national championship.
You ready for a take for you?
Oh,
He's gonna hit the under. You know why? Because when he goes to Gainesville on November 23rd, they're gonna be trying to hire him as the next head coach of Florida.
Chop.
Is that a better job?
So is he gonna do? I did see a message board geniuses. A Texas guy said that the college baseball World Series, the manager intentionally lost because he already knew he was going to Texas.
Wow.
And didn't want A&M to win.
Does he get? Does he get a ring?
That's great.
They're going to give him a ring.
No, he lost.
Yeah, he'll buy.
But
a ring.
maybe.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
No, Texas.
Oh, Texas. Give him a. They throw him.
We got to do a forensic files episode. Of That's. I mean, it's been settled. Yeah, I think you have to go under here, right?
I got the losses here. It's LSU.
Yep.
1,
It's Bobby Petrino.
2,
And then they come home to Georgia and Georgia fucks them up.
3.
Or actually, you know what I'm starting to think? It's LSU. They come out of the bye, they lose to Oklahoma. Then it looks like the wheels are falling off against Arkansas.
There's a lot of losable games on the schedule.
Yeah.
I'll take the under. They're gonna go.
And you can't trust Lane. I mean, Lane is great to do something diabolical, but I'm telling you, Saban's gone. I'll be very interested to see who he tries to fuck with. I hope it's Jimbo because I feel like Jimbo would just go physical.
I love seeing them go all in though. Even if I'm wrong, it would be so cool to see Ole Miss in the playoffs or potentially hosting a playoff game. I think would be fucking great for
Playoffs
the
are going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And how do you pronounce the baseball coach's name?
Schlossnagel.
Schlossnagel. That's an all-time name.
Is that an Urban Dictionary?
I wouldn't look it up.
That is a disgusting act.
All right, so we're all on the under for Ole Miss. Time for a lock.
I mean, but seriously though, do you think if Lane Kiffin talked shit to Mike Elko, he would just punch him in the face? I might have said Jimbo earlier, but that's.
Lane Kiffin was a quarterback at Fresno State. Elko was I think if I remember serving correct, he was a safety.
Just some new blood, like one of the new bloods. If he picks on one of these new guys and they just punch him right in the fucking face, that'd be great. All right, lock it up.
Kramer, what do you got? LSU over.
LSU. Ooh.
This has been your move. You take all unders. Spoiler alert for the Big Ten episodes, but you take overs and then you lock up, or take unders and lock up the over. What are you doing?
Well, you were telling everyone what I was going to do.
LSU over 9.5.
LSU over 9.5. I think we got to go. The floor is so low with this Arkansas team. Some of my off-season prep had me land on UCF and Jefferson as a fun Heisman dark horse, and it made me realize what Arkansas turned into. So yeah, I'll take a low under. I'll take a high over. And for the future, I want to just double dip with LSU, but also the Georgia price is pretty good.
What are you doing?
Give me LSU.
LSU
10-1 is going to seem silly. Maybe we also play the playoff price, but the 10-1 price does not seem right.
All right, so I'm locking up Auburn over 7.5, LSU over 9.5. I also like LSU to win the. You know what? I'll do this. I'm going to take Georgia to win the SEC at +190, and then I'll give you out I'll toss you a long shot just in case. Auburn at 55-1.
Yeah,
actually, little bonus play for the fans.
Take my LSU over and turn that into Georgia over.
Oh, okay.
And I'll have LSU.
So you have Georgia over 10.5.
Yeah.
And you have LSU winning the SEC.
Yeah.
Okay. Colby?
I'll take LSU over.
Yeah.
And I will also take the Auburn under as a lock.
Wow, Colby.
It's either them and Kentucky, but Auburn's win total is 1 higher, and I think it's the safest play.
You love Freeze.
I do. I mean, look, I enjoy. Auburn knows who they are.
Crime
and
pays,
I can
Colby.
appreciate that.
I'll remind you of all your catchphrases pointing you towards this.
What do you mean? They're in the
just,
SEC. They're playing other crime though.
Yeah, but you just said lead into your bullshit. Hey, look, they did it right with Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze doesn't even get a cell phone. Come on, what can stop him?
True.
Well, no,
he doesn't have a university issued cell phone. What is stopping this man?
He has a cell phone, just not one that's.
Well,
on
we
the
don't
network.
know that. We don't know that. What are you fucking narc?
He's probably got a burner. He's probably got a burner.
It's true.
Actually, you know what?
He's got prepaid wireless.
Take Arkansas off here. Just give me both overs. I want the only 2 overs I took are going to be my locks.
So adjusted locks: Georgia over 10.5, LSU over 9.5.
I like the LSU
this.
future too. I'm going to take a shot on that future.
Yeah.
I like that as well, but I got myself covered here.
Auburn 55-1, huh?
Yep, let's go.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you. Hey, we got SEC Part 2 coming up tomorrow night.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Check out our fantasy football previews. Check out Colby's 134 FBS team previews. For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
Yeah, SEC will be ringing cowbell and doing horns down, I think.
Horns down. Kramer, let it ride.